Thank you all for sticking around. We've taken note of everyone who left. But seriously, thank you. This is quite the honor to be up here today. And I know that there are many people in this room and around the world who love trains, but I have to say there's no one who loves railroading more than Henry Posner. And sorry, Ron, I wrote that before I heard your remarks. So I could stand here and read you his extensive resume, beginning as a ticket agent for Amtrak on Princeton University's campus, working at Conrail for a decade, starting in 1977, to founding RDC in 1987 with his business partner, Bob Pietrandrea, building rail partnerships across Latin America, Europe, and Africa, and this year's celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Iowa Interstate Railroad. But as Henry would say, you can read about it in the book Railroaders Without Borders, available from the Indiana University Press and wherever books are sold. So I'll pause for a moment on Conrail, not only because Henry describes working in the South Bronx as the best job he ever had, but because that's where he met my mother. Their marriage of 42 years is a testament to one of Henry's core philosophies in business and in life, that of partnership. Because the one thing Henry does love more than railroads is his family. There's also no one who knows more about railroads than Henry. A self-described student of railroads culture and governance, his encyclopedic knowledge of the industry means he can and will call you out on an incorrectly labeled stock photo of a freight yard. Happened not 30 minutes ago during a PowerPoint. Henry is hard to miss. In addition to his trademark bow tie, he knows that you're never fully dressed without your proper high-vis PPE. Famous for his Iowa Interstate Complaint Department vest, the pride that he takes in the safety culture built and maintained over decades of ownership is balanced by his humility and recognition that railroading is really a team sport. One of Henry's defining characteristics is his dedication to doing what's best for the industry first, most recently shown by his role as co-chair of the STB PRAC and a longtime supporter of Operation Lifesaver. Henry sees the full potential of the rail industry and its continued importance in a quickly changing world. Anyone who's attended a Railroad Day on the Hill meeting with him has seen this firsthand, where he really shines in connecting with people and telling our story. And as Chuck said, my job as introducing him is pretty easy because most of the people in the room know him, and you probably have your own Henry story. He loves to make new friends, whether that's striking up a conversation on the Amtrak Sightseer Lounge or receiving or sending out one of the 3,000 hand-signed holiday cards every year. Over the past decade, Henry has translated his expertise and passion for railroading into a new skill, teaching. Now an adjunct professor at Carnegie Mellon University, where he teaches an undergraduate course on railroad deregulation, Henry's not just talking about the need to attract and inspire the next generation of railroaders, but actually making it happen. All of this, and I haven't even mentioned his exceptional railroad photography collection now housed at CRPA, his extensive and one-of-a-kind railroad library, his leadership role in bringing back the East Broad Top Railroad, his philanthropic endeavors, his creative writing skills, recently enhanced by ChatGPT, and his unique sense of humor. I could not be luckier that in addition to all of these accolades, I get to call Henry my dad. His wisdom, support, and sponsorship have been invaluable to me as I've grown to know and love this industry. It's been the opportunity of a lifetime to get to lead together and build our partnership as we navigate the challenges and fabulous opportunities that come with a multi-generational family business. Some of the best advice Henry ever gave me came when I was deciding whether or not to take a job in Kenya at the age of 22. He simply said, when in doubt, choose adventure. That spirit resonates deeply into RDC's DNA and is arguably what brought us to Malawi, Guatemala, Estonia, Peru, and of course, to our global campus in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And I know it's what's going to carry us far into the future. In an industry rich with history, legacy, and pride, Henry really embodies the true spirit of railroading and holds a vision for what the industry can be. I could not think of anyone more deserving to receive this honor. So please join me in giving a very warm welcome to the chairman of RDC and the Iowa Interstate Railroad and my father, Henry Posner.
Okay, a couple housekeeping items. First of all, the RDC family, Iowa Interstate Railroad, Pop-Up Metro, Ferrocarril Central Andino, RDC. Anybody from that group, please stand, and I bask in your reflected glory. So. And also, thanks for sticking around. Second, our office car, not our private car, our office car, Hawkeye, is over at Denver Union Station. So anybody who wants to come over and see the Hawkeye, feel free to come over between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock this afternoon. So, building on what Ida has said, like everybody in this room, I am privileged to serve as a representative of our industry, Iowa Interstate, STB, Passenger Rail Advisory Committee, Carnegie Mellon University. By the way, when I was watching the presentation from Parkersburg, please note that the Coterra person said they saved 20% on transportation by using rail. That is exactly the number that I use in my CMU course, Competition Determines the Price. Thank you very much. And I just like to say, in exporting the U.S. model, one thing that we all get is why can't we have trains like in Europe? And sometimes we forget that it's the U.S. model that has found its way to the far corners of the world. Peru, Mozambique, even France. This is fabulous. But it's also a great opportunity, as Ron has pointed out, learn along the way. Because if everything you try succeeds, you're not trying hard enough. If you haven't failed multiple times, you're not trying hard enough. But one other interesting thing about being in the Class 2 and 3 world is you can do the right thing for our industry before doing it for ourselves, for the fundamental reason that we can afford it. Now, I recognize that many people in our industry cannot do the right thing because they cannot afford it. For example, Class 1s, beholden to quarterly results, get no points for doing the right thing. From East Palestine, I thought Norfolk Southern would have a year's grace, but it was less than a year when Ancora came calling. This highlights that we in the short line industry are in a unique position to lead the industry and represent our industry in ways that the Class 1s cannot. Most of us in this room did not enter the industry for the money, but for the cause. So in the 1970s, when I entered it, Steve Goodman's song, City of New Orleans, reflected the national mood. This train's got the disappearing railroad blues. And like everybody in this room, I would not be here but for my family. So a couple of examples. So my grandmother, Bertha McMurdo, accompanied me age 15 on my first transcontinental rail trip in 1970 through Denver. My father, Henry Posner Jr., who identified as a business person, perfected a business model based on partnerships. That is the DNA of RDC. And my wife, Ann Malloy, for those of you who don't know Ann, she's sitting right there, one of my bosses at Conrail. She is here, and for those who you don't know her, ask her about whatever aspects of her life you might find interesting. Railroader, stevedore, trucker, librarian, vice chair of the Carnegie Mellon Board. So let me just close by reminding everybody that we have a moral obligation to represent our industry in our communities. And more specifically, an obligation to attract the next generation. I've done that in my own special ways with a lot of help, and this is an especially important opportunity in 2025. History is written with a pencil. The truth is carved in steel. Those are the words, fictitiously spoken, in the film series Hell on Wheels by Thomas Durant, who built the Iowa Interstate. I'm sorry, built the Union Pacific. But on the Iowa Interstate, we have a station named Durant, named after Thomas Durant, because before he financed the Union Pacific, he financed the Rock Island. Carve your own truth. Tell our story. Build things. Volunteer for Operation Lifesaver. Join the Friends of the East Broad Top. And remember that leadership is as much about looking over your shoulder to make sure people are following you And also, don't be afraid to ask for directions on the way. So, yes, it is my honor to be inducted into the Hall of Foam. At least that's what I first thought. But also keep in mind that my first Lifetime Achievement Award was actually 8 years ago when Ida chose to follow me into the industry. Thank you very much.